Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to talk about the 1995 New York City vampire film Red Lips. This is a movie by Donald Farmer, who had also worked on Cannibal Hookers, which I had heard of, never seen, and Shark Exorcist from 2015, just to name a couple of his films you may have heard of. Again, I don't think I've seen that either. So this one caught my eye because it recently got a Vinegar Syndrome partner label release. So it's on their website to purchase on Blu-ray. I didn't watch the Blu-ray, obviously. I don't have that. But I was able to watch it on the internet. It's a shot-on-video vampire, sort of soft-core horror movie. It takes place in New York City. So if you like that older sort of New York City, excuse me, grungy, kind of sleazy aesthetic, you'll probably get something out of this film. Admittedly, I didn't love the movie, but it had its moments. So, the main plot of the story is the main character goes to a blood bank and she is donating her blood for $15. And she says to the nurse, I'm really hard up for money. Can I do this again in a couple hours or whatever? And the nurse said, no, legally we can't do that. You have to wait. I think the time frame was 6 weeks. But we are doing this experimental thing with people your age. We give you $100 a day. Are you interested? And she says yes. And they proceed to shoot her up with this green goo, which looks like something out of maybe Ninja Turtles or Reanimator. And she turns into a vampire. She proceeds to start seducing other women and men and killing them and draining their blood, etc. She links up at one point with Michelle Bauer, who you may know from things like Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Nightmare Sisters. She was a pretty big B-movie scream queen in the 80s and 90s. And that's sort of the point of the story. It's a very simple story, I feel, that they stretched out a little too far. It's almost an hour and a half, I think, the movie, or around there. And after a little while, the story sort of runs its course, and I felt it could have easily been maybe a shorter film or a short film. Again, it has that 90s New York City kind of grungy, sleazy aesthetic, which I enjoy. Since it's shot on video and I watched it online, I didn't watch any kind of up conversion or Blu-ray or anything like that. It's weathered and beat up and looks kind of crappy, which can add to the film. When you're watching maybe a grungy movie or a horror movie, it adds to the aesthetic, so I like that with shot-on-video films. Sort of has that Charles Pinion grungy feeling to it, but not thought-provoking, where his movies are thought-provoking. This film was just very simple and straightforward. Has a art sensibility to it, but not nearly as much. There is a lot of gratuitous blood with her drinking the people's blood and murdering them. Nothing crazy in terms of special effects that stands out, but you do see like lots of blood dripping and, her fangs with blood all over her face, stuff of that nature. Lots of sleaze. So if you like your vampire movies with lots of naked women, because the main character is a lesbian, I don't know if she's a lesbian at the onset or just because she's a vampire she becomes one, whatever. There's tons of women in showers, women sleeping together, bending over in front of the camera, just tons and tons of nudity. So that's a definite positive to this film. Overall, I thought the movie was just okay. It didn't fully grab me. I didn't love it, but I thought it was decent, and I could see why people would have liked, this sleazy, low-budget vampire horror movie back in the 90s. I'm going to check out more of Donald Farmer's work, though admittedly this wasn't my favorite film or anything that I would see myself revisiting anytime soon. It was okay. Let me know, guys, if you've seen Red Lips. I thought it was decent, but nothing amazing, kind of middling. But I know it has its fans, so I don't mean any insult, obviously. Let me know, guys, if you've seen it or what you think of the 1995 New York City vampire horror movie, Red Lips. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.